the first, the understand your assignment, there was subjective words and direction words. What I got was subjective words or like the content or what what it is. So like the examples it was saying, tell about an experience you had that dramatically revealed to you the importance of being accurate and precise. It would be being accurate and precise. And then the direction word is like the type of writing, so the method. It would be tell. It'd be tell, and then the next one would be like argue and explain, stuff like that.
Yeah. And like the direction word being tell, like it means that you're like sharing the details of the experience so that the readers can like appreciate it as you're like the way that you want them to appreciate it.
I kind of also got like direction words like help us understand the assignment more. So like if like the prompt has like analyze, like you can easily like pick it up and know that you're gonna have to analyze it, you know?
I think that the direction words also like it'll indicate to your audience like, you know, what's being said. Like if you tell them to like analyze it, then the audience is like, okay, she or he's gonna be analyzing it. Or he's like say like tell the audience or tell about an experience, like the audience can infer like, okay, she's telling about like an experience or something.
And it's like it's telling like it's like kind of like telling the direction of where you're gonna go, right? And like it helps them like expect what to like what they're reading.
Yeah, it seems like a thesis kind of, you know. This is what I'm gonna be talking about.
It's like similar to it, right?
Yeah.
Number 2 is just about finding the subject and topic. And like sometimes like we'll be given like a specific writing topic, but in other cases we'll be like given like a topic and then we have to go into the details and find a specific like genre inside of it.
What do you guys prefer writing? Expressive, informative, or argumentative?
I think the easiest one would be like expressive, because it's like more about what you're thinking, rather than like you have to like research for an argument or like research for an example. That's just what I think. I think that's easier. So
Me too. I like talking from like experience rather than. I hate finding research.
I think talking from experience is like way easier, and I feel like if you talk with experience, it makes your, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it makes it longer.
And there is evidence within that because like
Yeah.
you have your own stories and stuff like that.
The hardest for me would be like argumentative.
Really?
Yeah, because I feel like you're trying to like prove your point while also like trying to like justify like their point as well.
So it's hard to just like do an argumentative because then you also have to like.
You have to think about like what they're thinking as well.
Yeah.
And like try to like make an argument based off of that.
In high school, my teacher told us, I don't know, she put it out like step by step. And I feel like if you have a strong opinion on certain things or on a specific topic, it can come easy to like argue about it. And then.
But then if like you don't have experience in it, then it's like you have to actually go and do research, which takes like so long, to be honest.
So you don't think it's like hard to look at the other side when having like strong opinions on like your side?
No, not really. Because she would just say, like, make up, like, just think of what opponents would say, like, of your argument. So you would just make up anything and then, like, basically shoot it down with how you feel. So I feel like it's part expressive, but then also, like, my opinion is strong on this, and here's some type of information.
So for determining your purpose, I mean, you can't really write anything if you don't have a purpose, because then if the audience is gonna be confused, and they're not really gonna know like what you're shooting for, you know. So I think for me it's hard looking for a purpose. Sometimes like when I'm giving like a topic, like I don't know like where I'm gonna go with that, you know. Like it's kind of hard for me to like choose a purpose like, when I'm trying to let my audience know, you know.
Yeah, it's also like kind of hard like when you have like when it's an assignment where like it's your own, you get to choose. It's kind of like hard picking a topic and like, oh, what do I want to do with this topic, right?
That's kind of how this class is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna choose the topic. formally or informally?
To be honest, I think I read more informally than formal.
Mhm.
Me
Because, like,
too.
I didn't even know like informal was using abbreviations, and I use abbreviations like
Really?
yes, I didn't know that.
Oh, wait, what kind of abbreviation?
As in like a professor, it's just like the PROF.
You put that in your writing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Or like like other stuff like that.
I was like BTW or like TP.
But yeah, I don't know. That's just me.
I also think it depends on the type of writing, because like expressive, I feel like you're more likely
Yeah.
to write informally,
Yeah.
like rather
It's
than
kind of like
informative.
from your experience.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So you're gonna
Your
write how
experience.
you write if you're speaking of your experience.
Because if I was to do like expressive writing, I don't know how I would do that like formally, because it's coming from like my own like thoughts and feelings. So it's like, how would I put that into like formal? You know? So that's why when it comes to like expressive writing, I tend to do it like informal. I guess maybe that's just me.
And
Mhm.
some people just write formally as
Yeah.
I think it just comes natural. I don't know.
Mhm.
Maybe like
I would think,
practice, I
yeah,
guess.
just like depending on like what your writing style is for like your topic.
Yeah.
Another thing is like knowing like who we're writing to, right?
Mhm.
So like our audience. So like if they're like so say we're like writing to like a bunch of teachers, then that's when I would like try to
Yeah.
use this like formal writing.
Yeah, it also depends on like who
Mhm.
you're writing about. Because I mean, if I'm just writing to like obviously like a friend, like I don't have to be
I don't
like
yeah, you don't have to be like formal.
Yeah. Whereas if I'm writing to like our professor, like I would
Mhm.
have to be like formal because she's yeah.
I think the reason for that is just kind of like they don't really sometimes they can't like if you go to like from one audience to another, like they won't understand like what you're trying to say with the abbreviations.
So when we write essays in this class, who would you guys consider your audience?
I think formal because it's like in a classroom setting. I mean, we're still like young, but like, I think still.
We're still like we're still trying to like
It's for us an assignment, so.
Because it doesn't just go straight to the professor. Like
Yeah.
the final essay, we share out loud to like, the
Mhm.
class.
if our audience is to the class, then I feel like we can be a little less formal and we can be like a little more in we can lean toward like being
Yeah.
informal.
Maybe like a mix of both, because it's like you're also talking to your professor while you're also talking to
The
like,
class as well, right?
Mhm.
How do you guys like to gather your ideas for like writing?
Honestly, like one of the prompts is like keeping a journal,
Mm-hmm.
but to be honest, I just kind of like write my ideas on my notes. Like
Yeah.
whatever pops to mind, like if I have like a month to write something, like and the ideas will just come to me like easily. I'll just like write them in my notes, and then when I'm actually like getting ready to do my essay, I'll
Mhm.
like look at my notes and I'll be like, okay, like here's my brainstorming, so I know what I'm
Okay.
talking about.
So it's like brainstorming then.
Mhm.
I find it like I think it's a little hard to keep a journal
Me too.
because it's like you have to always write in it like every
I keep it on
every
my
single
phone
time.
Because honestly, like I always have my phone on me 24/7
Mhm.
anyway, so I feel like that's just way easier than just keeping a journal. To be honest.
I try to write in an actual like paper
Mhm.
or like notebook. But then whenever I'm like, dang, I wish I had my journal, and I was like,
Mhm.
okay, maybe I'll just use my phone. But I feel like it's not the same. 'cause
It's
I
yeah,
wanna
it
write
doesn't feel the same, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes if I have it on my phone, I'm like more like prone to like what's it called again? Like distractions. Like I'll just go to like scroll on Instagram or go watch a YouTube video.
That's also another thing too. Is like when I'm doing like my brainstorming, I'll be like, I'll forget because like my notifications will pop up, and I'll be
Mhm.
like, I just forgot what
Mhm.
I'm brainstorming. So I think it's like better to just like try to have a habit for me to like keep a journal and just
Mhm.
like brainstorm whenever like we have something that we need.
Have you guys ever tried the free writing?
Free writing? I've tried it a couple times, but it just kind of like ends up me like just kind of like trying to write about like the essay topic and like with like the little knowledge that I have, and then I go back and I'm like I edit it and like add
Mhm.
more details.
I've tried it too, but it's more like
it's
where
hard to
it gets
do,
to the
right?
point where you're just repeating yourself because you
Mhm.
don't know much about it. So
Exactly.
You know.
For AP Lit, like my teacher, she would always tell us like, oh, free write about this, like even before like we read a book or something.
Mhm.
If it was, I think it was like To Kill a Mockingbird or something, and she's like, free write about it, and like,
It's hard to do if you don't know
Yeah.
what the thing's about, right?
and I was like, and she made us do it for like 5 minutes, and then for like the 5 minutes, I was literally thinking about what to write. So I technically didn't write anything because I
Mhm.
spent the 5 minutes thinking about
Mm.
what I'm writing. So I feel like if I don't have like prior knowledge to what I'm writing about, then I'm not gonna like understand like
Yeah.
or know what to write about.
I think this free writing though, it's more like kind of like journaling. Like you just write whatever comes to your mind. There's not a specific topic. It's just keep on writing until either you put a timer or until you just want to stop.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree. Like if they give you a topic and you don't really know what it's about, then it's kind of hard to write on it. You know?
So it's kind of like the next one, like open writing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
You stop every like 10 minutes to evaluate what you've written, and then you keep going after you like know.
That I feel like I do with essays. Like I'll just write and write. Like as my rough draft, I'll write, and then I'll look back and be like, okay, that sounds good, or I can
Yeah.
fix this.
And then I can continue writing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily use a timer, but I just kind of like stop when I feel like, okay, I feel like this portion of my essay has enough,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll just continue, or I'll make edits if I have to.
Yeah. I keep going until like I can't it doesn't make sense anymore, right?
Mhm.
How do you guys like organize it? Like, do you put it like in chronological order, like, or do you like put it in like a series of events? You know what I mean? Like do you like compare and contrast? Like, no, that's the same thing. Do you like compare and contrast it, right? Like, or like point by point, or like chronologically?
I do it in order.
In order?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, for the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
It just depends on the essay.
Yeah, it depends on what we're talking about.
Mhm.
If it's asking to like compare and contrast, then I would use that.
Or like argumentative,
Yeah.
right? For my first draft, I try to like make it as good as as perfect as possible. And then like when I go to revise it, then it's like I try fine tune some small mistakes I may have made. For you guys.
For me, I just write, just keep writing for a while, and then after that I have my whole essay, I go back and check it, and then I add in more quotes if I need more quotes, or more explaining the quotes,
Mm-hmm.
and then I fix my punctuation, because when I'm writing my rough draft, my rough draft, I don't fix punctuation now. I just leave it till last minute, so I
Yeah.
focus on getting my ideas across, and then fixing little mistakes.
I do the same thing. I don't really do, you're supposed to write a rough draft. I know it's bad, but I don't rewrite anything. I'll just fix my rough draft.
Yeah.
Revise.
It's kind of hard to rewrite everything, right?
I think it would be different if it was on paper.
Mm-hmm.
But on the computer, it's like,
Mhm.
am I
I don't
really
necessarily
gonna?
go into a rough draft. I kind of just type my final draft just like
Yeah.
that.
And then
fix
revise.
those.
And then
Yeah.
revise, right?
Because I feel like that's time consuming. Or maybe just I'm a big procrastinator, so I don't know, I just go in with my final and then I just I use Grammarly or something and then have it fix what I can't catch, I guess you could say. What about clustering? Do you guys find yourself doing that? Also putting your topic on a sheet of paper and putting clusters around it, or is that how do you guys feel about that? Is it too complicated or?
I've never tried it
Yeah,
before.
I've never done it either, but I mean, it could work,
Not for essays, but for random things, I would okay. Kind of a pros and cons, or okay, if I do this,
Yeah.
what am I gonna get out of it?
Mm-hmm.
So for fun, kind of. Is there anything else you guys?
Yeah. Do you guys have trouble forming your thesis sometimes, or just me? I struggle because I don't know. Sometimes I don't know how to put it together. And sometimes I find myself
It's
writing
I
my
have the
essay.
words, but I have to put it into a thesis, and it's super
Yeah.
hard for me to do that.
And then sometimes I write my essay first, and then I do my thesis.
Really?
Yes, because I don't even know what essay's about. I kind of just go with the flow, and I'm okay, this is what I'm I'm getting across. So that's what I do my thesis.
It got me confused because it was saying to determine whether your thesis is too general or too specific. But then it made it seem like too general was better than
Mhm.
too specific.
It's kind of a little hard to like determine if it's like too general or too specific, right? Because like you don't want to be like make it like too like plain to the point where like you leave all the details out, but you also don't want to like make it too detailed.
Yeah, because if you
Right.
make it too specific, it's like you're already talking about your essay in your thesis and not like
It's
Like
explaining
not
it
like the
well.
overview, right?
Yeah.
You kind of have to just explain what you're talking about, but not make it too vague or too detailed.
Mhm.
I think that's kind of what gets me. It's like I either make mine too detailed or too vague, and I can never go in like between. Like, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
I suck at them.
So I think it's like super hard for me to like formulate a thesis sometimes.
I have to search up examples of like
Oh, yeah.
what a thesis looks like.
Yeah.
Or unless I really know about the topic, then I'll probably be like, okay, like here's my thesis, because I already have like prior experience or knowledge on the topic, so it's easier for me to formulate a thesis that way.
Mhm. And then we're just kind of coming up on our like time limit, so
There's a time limit?
oh, not really.
12
I mean,
to 15 minutes.
yeah, 12 to 15. We're coming up at like 16.
60. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I guess like any like final notes or anything about this to just wrap it up.
I think that's it. Yeah, I'm pretty much sure. What do you think?
I think we spent a lot of time talking about like how we formulate our thesis, to be honest, because
Do you guys want to talk about the essay at the end?
Yeah, let's just finish it off with the essay part.
Okay, what did you guys think about the essay?
The student essay.
Yeah.
honestly, I thought it was pretty pretty good.
No, not like the writing, just
No,
like your thoughts on what was being said. Or like her story.
I'm not too
Oh,
sure.
so
What
it
did you
was-
think?
I actually kind of like how she did her thesis. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe I just can't write a good thesis.
I thought like the topic that and the experience that she was writing about was pretty. It was really interesting. It kind of like caught my attention,
And I
especially
think-
with the words that were used.
And I think that's like the whole point of that is like to grab our attention so that we can further keep reading.
Yeah, like stay engaged.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that she said, you know, the word she said to the
Yeah.
girl without even knowing like she knew it was bad, but she didn't know what it meant. So
Mhm.
I just thought it was interesting how you can shame or like say a racist remark at such a at such a young age without even knowing
Cause
The
kind of like
meaning.
when you're a kid, you're kind of like a mockingbird, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You kind of like copy the words that you like hear around
Mhm.
you.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it was like around 5th grade when it happened is kind of it's a little shocking.
And then hearing the dad say it, because I felt like the dad wasn't saying it towards anyone, right? He was on
Mhm.
the phone. So it's like, how did she know it was a bad thing?
I feel like she just thought it was another word. And she didn't necessarily know like the whole meaning
Or
behind
maybe
it.
like the tone from the dad, right? You can
Yeah.
kind of like you can tell if something's bad's happening, like just based on like the tone of a person's voice.
Because she said right here, like, nobody told me that blacks were once treated terribly wrong or that they were used as slaves. But I feel like if you were to hear that word being used in like he said, like the tone shift,
In a negative way.
yeah, and then you would be able, like, I probably would be able to figure out like, oh, it's like a negative way.
The last thing I want to say is, I just think it's crazy how in the end, when she's like defending the girl, like was it suspended or like she gets in trouble and the other kid didn't. Like, how are they gonna suspend her for saying a bad word or like calling him names,
Mhm.
vulgar language, when he literally said like that was crazy.
She just like used the word like honky.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means, but
That doesn't sound like
vulgar.
vulgar or anything. It just kind of like sounds like you're saying like a sound. You know what I mean?
So yeah, that's crazy that she got in trouble and the other kid didn't. When he's literally the one saying vulgar words.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. I guess that like wraps up our chapter 2 discussion.
Yeah.
All right.